Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Leigh Fuge and I'm here today at the British Boutique Guitar Festival with Daniel from Devil and Sons Guitars, and we're going to be looking at this really cool lightly Relic'd guitar. So what am I holding in my hands today? What are we looking at here?
Great, well it's from a series of guitars I've made that I call the End of the Road guitars.
Okay.
Essentially, if I just quickly tell you that aside from this guitar, a lot of the work I do is customising guitars, so not built from scratch like a lot of the other boutique builders here. And for this particular one, what we're looking at is a Squire Affinity that I've sort of had an accident with, essentially. It kind of comes from the idea of me responding to when I first made these, when I first discovered the idea of relicking, and the sort of whole community online of people discussing what they like and what they don't like. And it was also partly me trying to challenge what you can do with a guitar body and still make it functional. Yeah. So, you know, we have all these discussions about tone woods and sustain and how that's affected if you change this and that. And I began to realise that for me, a lot of what I think is happening with the guitars is, with the sound, is what's happening after it leaves the guitar. As long as the signal coming out is good, people use so many effects on it, I think you'd struggle to notice a difference with wood once you're going through all these effects, especially when you're playing live. Yeah. So it's sort of pushing that, a fun take on relicking, a fun take on trying to explore what guitars are. Yeah. And from this, I went on to do a lot of guitars that are kind of angled, strangely built, with lots of things stuck on them. Yeah. So it's still functional, as I'm sure you'll demo in a minute. Apart from, I've taken the tremolo system out to leave this bent, because I think the real bentness adds to the uncomfortable feeling that you get if you're used to knowing what a Strat looks like. Yeah, of course. Looks wrong. The middle pickup I've pushed aside and looped it out, so we've just got a three-way for these two. Okay.
Yeah, because obviously the tremolo being sort of disconnected, anyone can see that on the back of the guitar. The trem cavity is still there, but obviously the trem is not connected to that cavity.
And a lot of these wires that you see here, some of them are functional, but some of them are just fake wires, just to add to the look, really.
Right, okay, cool. So you said this was a Squire Affinity, so obviously aside from the visual customizations, is there anything additional you've added, or is this...
No, on this one, it's exactly as it was from stock. Okay. Although the ones I make do vary, so what I use varies, and quite often people will come to me and say, we would like this, we would like these sort of pickups. Right. And, essentially, with the black pickups, maybe it's hard, especially on camera, to see what's done to them, but with a different colour pickup, like a white pickup, I paint onto the plastic parts, and that doesn't really affect the sound.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because I don't know if this is showing up properly on camera, but obviously this pickup here has been melted. I mean, obviously that one disconnected anyway, but you've obviously applied the same effect there to the scratch plate and to the volume pot. But the cool thing is, even though the volume pot's angled, that's still fully functional as well. So being a three-way switch, I guess the middle position is just both pickups on. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is definitely an interesting take on the Relic. The neck angle is very interesting as well. I really like the sort of the look that it's gone for there. So yeah, let's have a listen to what it sounds like. So I believe we're plugged into the Axe FX 3 on one of Mike's presets. So let's have a listen. The neck angle takes a bit of getting used to, but obviously for anyone who's used to this shape of guitar, I play this shape body quite a lot myself, so you sort of have a set way of putting it on your leg, so you do have to adjust your sort of position a little bit, but it's very comfortable. It's really nice to play.
Oh, that's good to hear. I mean, a lot of my guitars are bodies that have had a lot of addition put onto them. So a lot of them have a sci-fi theme. I've made a few where this is like an alien head from Aliens.
Okay.
And it does add bulk to it. And it does, there's quite often with them a balance between appearance and the feel of when you're playing it. But I always have to make sure they're totally functional.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah. And this is incredibly functional. Like you could play this like any other guitar.
Yes, yes.
There's nothing that sort of hinders the playability of this whatsoever. And I think it's actually quite interesting that, you know, obviously you've made this from a budget guitar, and it kind of dispels that myth a little bit that budget guitars aren't good guitars.
Yes, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
I honestly find that with budget guitars, even out of the factory sometimes they're good, but they don't need much work on them. You don't even need to change pickups. They don't need much work on them to play really well.
Yeah.
A decent setup. And back to what I was saying about, I think that obviously pickups make a difference. But as long as you've got a good signal coming out, with a lot of people using like the axe effects, you can change that.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just knowing how to dial in a certain set of pickups with your rig as well. Like sometimes if you play with a certain sound, maybe some lower end single coils might sound a bit brittle, but you can always EQ that out or whatever.
I've actually got a massive pile of pickups of different types that I've got from second-hand guitars and budget guitars, and I sometimes find the cheap guitar pickups, occasionally you'll get one which just has such a crazy sound to it because they're not consistent when they're from very, very budget guitars.
Yeah, of course.
But it has such an interesting sound from it that it's something you want to use.
Yeah, absolutely. And that this is sort of testament to that, isn't it? It's all stock. It's had a little bit of light Relic'd work done, and it sounds great. What does everyone think of Relic'd guitars? Because I know this is a big topic for a lot of people on the internet. Some people love them, some people hate them. What do you think about this level of Relic'd? Because this is sort of Relic'd taken to that next level, isn't it? I love the way you've sort of split bits of the body off completely and then reattached them. What was the process for that? Is that like a resin?
So most of them, if we turn it around this way, most of them will have a piece like here.
Okay.
It's always different, or here, where if you removed it, you would see the screws where I've screwed this back in with glue to hold it in place, because that's not functional. Right. And on the more recent ones I've made of these, the headstock has an extra split on it, which I've just found is an easier way to make sure I can reinforce what's going through it, so there's no way that this will give. An extra split allows me to put 2 bars straight through it and hold it all really tight.
Okay.
But
so
even here, like underneath this, what you can't see, as well as the glue holding it in place, are the screws that are just under the split bits of wood.
Right.
It's a bit like certain brands are known for their headstocks giving way, and when you're repairing them, it's a similar process.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mine.
No, not these. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I just love all the little details, like the tuners being off center. Obviously, you can get that up in the close-up camera. I really like the vibe of the completely smashed headstock. That's really cool. It's like sort of if you had a guitar that you've done like 1,000 gigs with and it's seen better days, but you keep putting it back together. That's what this would sort of be for some people.
I mean, one of my bugbears about people complaining about relics is the idea that you should relic your own guitar. Because with a lot of very contemporary finishes, unless you are a full-time musician, gigging all the time with that instrument, it's not going to relic much.
No.
The relics come from if you chip it by accident and then something happens, or if you are really playing a lot.
Yes.
And it's not really going to happen. So, I mean, I'm precious about my guitars. The ones I gig with, I keep so safe. I'm not saying I'm a full-time touring musician, but they don't get damaged, and I don't think most people would relic their guitar themselves. So this was sort of that tongue-in-cheek, right? If you are the sort of person that can relic it yourself, you're probably not looking after it properly. Yeah,
that makes sense. I think I'm okay with relics. I know a lot of people are really against them, but I think for me, what I really like about relics, and I know Mike said this when he spoke to you in his video earlier, it's about the feel sometimes. It's not so much the aesthetic thing, it's the way it feels. And some of my favourite guitars in my collection are guitars that I've either owned for a long time or are older guitars that I've bought, and they have that played-in feel. And for me, that's really what a relic does. Like, you can buy a guitar and it feels played in, which to me is part of the experience. I like that feel. So yeah, I've always been okay with buying relics, but obviously I know some people watching this video might disagree, but obviously throw that below as well because it's a great topic. And yeah, some people hate relics. So if you don't like relics, you should still check these guys out because this is really cool. This is just beyond a relic, isn't it? This is relic and taken to the extreme. So yeah, thank you very much. That was a lot of fun. Let me know what you guys think of this in the comments below. Obviously, relicing is a fun topic to get into. And where can people find you if they want to check out more of your stuff?
Yeah, so I do have a website, Devil and Sons, I'll say that again, devilandsons.guitars. But mainly I'm really on social media, so if you're watching this on YouTube, check out my YouTube channel, Devil and Sons. I've got a build video of how this was made. I've got demos of it being played, and also a talk about the different versions of this that I make on there as well.
Cool. So I will put some of those links down below in the description as well, so you guys can go and check those out as well. Thank you all for watching. Big thanks to Mike for putting on this really cool event. Like I said, there's going to be some great content from this weekend, so go check out all the videos across all the channels from this weekend. And a big thanks to all the brands, and especially the main sponsor of the event, David Dyke Luthier Supplies. Go check those guys out as well. There are some links down below. Like I said, let me know in the comments what you think of Relic'd and this really cool guitar. Looking forward to hearing that. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thanks for watching.